This is a demo on working with Pinion, which is a proprietary tool that Level Up has developed to help us with AI coding agent work. So it's designed to both plan and coordinate software work. So you should think of it as Pinion as being something that sits sort of in a layer between whatever you're doing around human sprint planning, maybe even vibe planning for all I know. And then below that, the actual code agent work that you're doing today. This is designed to be a connective layer to help both in the planning and in the actual coordination of the work that's happening, to guard for quality, especially. In this first video, I'll be showing how we are planning sprints off of basic sprint plans and how we're turning those into something that Pinion can work with us on. And I will have to pull this off the screen in a moment because there are some implementation details that would probably leak out in the actual chat that we're not ready to disclose. Again, this is proprietary. We consider this to be fairly novel in the approach that we're taking here. We are currently approaching this in terms of looking in the direction of commercialization. It is also possible that we'll stick with an open source route, but we will have to, mask the implementation details in the videos that we'll be doing here. But in any event, the idea here is that we've tooled up the agent so that it understands, even in a fresh chat, what this command means. So Pinion plan sprint. The agents files are actually very lightweight, as I'll show what I can here in a little bit. And we do have a very lightweight scope of work for Sprint 5. So in this case, we've just chosen to do some UI work, and we'll see how far we get with it. But the goal is actually, fairly high level. We've identified the main thing that we want to work on, as well as pulling in some work that was deferred in the previous sprint and the demos that we're running here. But I mean, this is basically it. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this off the screen, and we're going to take a look at the work that's already been released, at least as far as this instance of Backlog Zero knows. So Backlog Zero will also be demoing here in a second. So we'll take a look at that. So Backlog Zero is designed, as we've done in previous videos, if you want to take a look at those. It's an AI agent itself that is designed to help customers basically pull their backlogs out of Jira or ServiceNow and translate those immediately into Ansible playbooks that are testable and runnable in Red Hat Ansible Automation Platform, which we as Level Up do a lot of work with clients and with Red Hat on. And so just kind of kicking the tires on this little dev instance that we have, taking a look at things that the various screens and so on and how it works. I have to give the agent a little nudge right now to make sure that it's actually really ready to run the plan and so forth. But that's basically, just briefly a little bit about that. And so now I have to watch the planning happen here. So it is doing some of that work. And usually it just takes a few minutes to start rolling out what it needs to. And so I'm actually watching that right now. As I said, while I have the time here, at a high level, part of the motivation here for this was that we really wanted to. I see several tasks being created here, several work units, and so I'm actually starting to review those as well, seeing what's actually being scaffolded here. I am seeing some of that work come in, and we should see some good things here momentarily on this screen. So anyway, part of the motivation here was that we really felt like there needed to be just a better level of coordination. There are a lot of horror stories out there that we've seen, regularly with people working with coding agents. I really feel like, coding with agents is great until it isn't. And I think we've all been there where you have just a prompt that goes in to an agent and suddenly, you can see your entire code base just be deleted. There are horror stories out there about that, even with professionals sometimes that, if you're just kind of rapidly iterating and prototyping things, and you're just, prompting your way through that, there can be a lot of issues there. So, as I said, you saw a very lightweight sprint planning document, and we now need to see if we can turn that into something that's truly, actionable and ready. So the planning is actually almost done here. And I'm not exactly even sure, how much of this video I'll be doing, if this is just a oneer or if I'm going to, go ahead and clean this up a little bit. But we'll go ahead and take a look at what was here before. So we had all the way through pin 032 before. We'll see what's currently in the list. So it's added some work here, and we can look, at a glance and kind of see what it's doing here. So, at a high level, I also want to call attention to the fact, as I mentioned, This is an engine that is actually driving, the coordination that you've already seen in the sprint planning. So it converted whatever was in the sprint plan there, the really just kind of almost a one paragraph thing. It converted it into several, looks like eight tasks. So we do have, kind of from a sprint level perspective, we do try to, look for something like between 8 and 12 tasks to be identified and starting to prioritize. And there's actually a lot of work that goes into the engine to help, figure out what the planning is. And again, those are some of those proprietary details. But that's it basically for video one. And we will be running the first of the tasks in the next video.